Chris has made a really, I think, helpful point in the context of trying to square the circle in some respects, particularly as we're sort of moving towards climate change, and even just the general sense of togetherness and well-being. If there was, I guess, a common objective, Mark Carney in his BBC lectures, the Reef lectures at Christmas this year, talked a lot about this, that if people can come to I guess, an agreed position around the importance of climate change, what we're trying to achieve. I mean, we've got obviously targets of achieving, I think it's net zero carbon by 2045. That's the government's target. If it can be articulated, I guess, what that objective is and get broad agreement, to that, then does that, the fact that we're sort of aiming for a common goal, does that help in any way to sort of bring society together and to have individuals feeling that they're part of something, part of something bigger and part of something, that does genuinely take us towards a society that's greener, more equal than what we have today? Martyn, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is a great question, and it's one of the things that we really we kind of watch a lot in the strategy team, because when we did, I don't know if people have come across scenario planning as a technique, but it was made famous by Shell many years ago, and we did a piece on the energy transition in 2019, and basically you're looking at uncertainties basically, and the range of uncertainties and the number and type of them, and we thought that there's two big ones, and one of the biggest ones was the global solidarity, which is what we're talking about here. Will the world pull together? Will public sector, private sector, civil society pull together to work on it? And back then I was quite skeptical. That was before the US pulled out, and then the US pulled out, and then they're back in. And so now you're coming to COP this year in Glasgow, and all the focus that's on Scotland this year because of that. I think, the transition will be different for every single country in the world, and there will be winners and losers at the country level as well as at the company level and the individual level. And if we're wanting a green future, also to generate jobs and to kind of transition people from the old to the new, and solve inequality, I think that's impossible to do all that at the same time. Because as Sheila says, there is no infinite end of finance. We're going to have to make some really tough choices, and some of those choices are as very simple as, do we spend money trying to stop the climate change getting worse, so we try and mitigate the impact of burning fossil fuels, for example, or do we adapt to what's coming? We've already locked in 1.2 degrees temperature rise above pre-industrial Earth. And many parts of the world are already way above 1.5 degrees. So we've already locked that in. And now it's a case of how much worse is it going to get? And the impact is coming, and we will see heat and drought, water extremes, sea level, fires. So do you actually think about, are we actually wise to move some of these cities from being like a meter above sea level, or do we continue to pump money into a lot of these coastal villages and towns and cities that are very vulnerable in the future? So I don't think everyone can win, Michael. I think it's too big a problem. But I am an optimist. I do believe that things, we're not on target. We're not on target to achieve what we need to achieve as a planet. But I am an optimist that I think people have woken up to the fact that we're not on target and we need to change. I think now the big question will be, can we achieve all of the ideals that we have? And maybe some countries will crack the code and do it, like Singapore, for example. I don't know, a small country, and it could control, a very kind of authoritarian regime. Can the UK do that? Can America do that? Can China? Can Scotland? I'm personally a bit fearful, actually, of what's coming. And I think we need to really, as I would, really emphasize what Sheila said about making the country attractive. We all have a part to play in that, making our companies and countries attractive to investment from outside, because we need to make sure that the investment from government comes up to Scotland, and from companies want to set up in this part of the world. So yeah, there's no simple answer, but I am hopeful that people are going to work together more as they see the kind of the challenge. People are waking up to the challenge, and hopefully they want to do more things about it.